you're from the Bay Area, right?
Nah. I was born in San Diego.
Okay, San Diego,
And then raised all over the fucking world, dude. Because my
that's
dad
right.
being
No, dad
Navy.
was in the military. Yeah.
But I got fam in the Bay. I got friends in the Bay. Yeah.
Something about all of your San Francisco 49er stuff.
Oh, because my dad was in the Bay. He grew up in the Bay. So yeah, he grew up in the Bay or whatever. So I think he was actually born in San Francisco. He was born in San Francisco. That's where I fell in love with, and being a child of the 80s. So knowing that my father was born in San Francisco, and that, the 49ers were amazing back in the 80s, as an 80s kid. Right. Even though at that time, here's the whole other thing. Growing up as a kid, I fucking hated my dad because he was never home. He was in the military, right? So like, who the fuck are you, dude? Like, you're only here for like a couple months, then you're gone for like a full year,
I contend that that's the only reason. Like, when you look at like horrible cities that have like miserable weather, but yet the fan base is just so rabid over like a specific team. Yeah, and it's because that is the only way they connect to their parents. Like, their dad was a Pittsburgh Steeler fan, and that's like the only thing we ever talked about ever growing up was football. That's why I love them. I hate my dad, but fucking love the Steeler or whoever, whatever.
Yeah. And was a crazy point of contention. I don't know are you an NFL guy? You are an NFL guy, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, because you're Brady, motherfucker. You're Boston cat, right?
No. I was a Brady. I mean, I respect him, but he's no longer on the team.
Yeah, true. So, so I grew up a 49ers cat because of the 80s with Montana, Rice, fucking Roger Craig. We had a killer lineup, bro. Ronnie Lott. We had a beast of a team. Then we had Deion Sanders, Steve Young. Come on now. But at one point, I moved to Seattle. My dad, once he got out of the military, we were living in Washington State. And
how old? I remember you telling this. This is like high school, right?
Yeah. Like around like sophomore, junior year, something like that.
So that must have been
around sophomore, junior year.
That was like 92-ish.
93, 94-ish. You're not too far off. You're not too far off.
But you're a couple years older than I am, but not by too much.
Yeah, not too much. So living in there, I enjoyed Seattle, dude. And became a fan. Well, I also actually liked them before that because I'm a fan of receivers. Being a fan of Jerry Rice, they had Steve Largent at that time. He was like their guy, and then they had a couple other guys, and then
Joey
even Rice
Galloway.
And then Rice even went to Seattle for a period, like after he left the Raiders, because he left our team, he left my team, the Niners, went to the Raiders to Oakland, and then I think like his last pit stop was Seahawks, and then retired.
See, I think if I ever get back on the road, I think I'm just gonna start buying those like really, 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 really niche jerseys where it's like Jerry Rice on Seattle. It's like
I like that
Patrick Ewing in Seattle or the Magic. Did
he go outside of the Knicks?
Yeah, I think he played for Seattle and he played for Orlando.
Oh shit!
Sean Kemp went to Cleveland, was in Orlando. Like these.
What? That's when I started falling off, bro. Like I want to say after Jordan retired, how like after he left the Bulls because of that whole situation. And if you ever seen that doc that's on, I don't know if it's on Netflix, but it was like HBO thing, the 30 by 30 or whatever. But that was. I started falling off then, man. You know what I'm saying? Because at one point, like you knew every player on every team. There was loyalty. You know what I'm saying? Although I was not to say that cats should be loyal because these teams, are like corporations, are making money off his players. Right. I respect these players getting their money, because these, it's just what it is. So not to talk shit on them, but it felt kind of cool to just have people stay for a team for a while, have it develop and everything like that. Now I understand that cats are chasing money, but then it's kind of hard to root for a team in a way. You know what I'm saying? So
that's when you just go straight brand loyalty only. Like forget the players. It's about the team.
Yeah.
I mean, what am I going to do with my like 4 Brady jerseys? Like,
bruh.
I mean, I have to wait for him to retire to then break it out and be like, oh, okay. Yeah. That's okay. But, when you look at it, especially with football, it's like an average player's career is 4 years, maybe.
Yeah.
And it's like, am I going to make 4 million or am I going to make 40 million?
True.
I can't even. I can't even be mad.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not mad at them. It just kind of you fall off of sports for a little bit, or at least that's what happened to me, you know. And then I think I went into the military at that time, so I really stopped following, and then was just in and out of it. Would only get into the Super Bowl when it was Super Bowl time, you know. So you were in regards to NFL, and then championships for the NBA when it was championship time.
Yeah, yeah. You were in the military like 96, 7?
Yes, 96, 97 is when I went into the military.
And then you were there for 4 years, 5
years? Yes, sir. 4 years. Got out in 2000. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that was my time period. And then just kind of, fell off, man. And then just everyone was going everywhere at that time now. You know, that's really was the change of, I want to say the change of like teams staying true, you know?
But also I think that's where we are in our lives around that age. When you know, 18 to 25, we are just testosterone filled monsters. That's real. We're just trying to fuck. If we have to drink to fuck, we'll drink and get drunk. And then we'll try to fuck. Everything else is like, sports, whatever. Can I fuck? No? Okay. Then.
Bruh. I was just thinking about that. That's funny you bring that up. Just how we as men have changed and as a society, and how things are, you know, you got to be careful with what you say and do, which is a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I was always very mindful and respectful, but then there was a lot of brothers that are good friends, you know, that now are seen as problematic, you know, but I know a lot of them have changed, but you know, it was an interesting time period. And then I looked to my side. I think I was on another podcast the other day, and I'm looking at my stuff magazines, my Playboys. You've been to the studio, bro.
Yeah. The Maxim.
Fucking, I got them all right here, dude.
Right.
My 4 years, because I got the subscription when I was in the military and was subscribing to all of that shit. And I haven't seen them since that time period. Why I still have them, I don't know. It's nostalgic.
You should go through it. Like, not that you would ever need content ideas, but I would go through it and just pick out like this is the way we thought back then.
True.
Just talk about it. Because
we can do it on this podcast, brother.
Absolutely. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Loy Lee and the big homie Kuya P.
What up? Yo, I'm excited, bro. Miss you, man. You're all the way in Las Vegas. I'm here in DC, just trying to do my thing and entertain and all that. And I'm happy that you and I can like mash off and hopefully get those creative juices again. Because you blasted me off last year. Again, I'm always attribute some of my current successes to you, brother, because you hit me up when I was low. So hopefully you and I can continue to rejuvenate each other and make something pop, man. I love it.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you, brother.
I freaking love you. And today we want to start some stuff. And then today I wanted to go over a movie review. I wanted to start doing some movie reviews for the NRW, Nerds of Color, the Loy Lee podcast, the Kuya P Show Pow Show. This creates some content. Yeah. And me and Kuya P and the kid over here, we're trying to think like, what's a good movie review that me and you can like bond over? And we dug deep.
It's deep. A throwback. It's a throwback.
The movie is an independent movie called The Debut, also spelt The Debut.
Yeah.
depending how you read it.
Yeah, some people pronounce it differently. I know I pronounce it differently here and there. Ain't gonna lie.
So it came out in 2000.
2000, yeah. 2000, I pulled up the IMDb while you were talking, so I could make sure have my notes together.
Yeah, and so basically, this movie can drink now at this point. It's 21 years.
Yeah.
So a quick summary about it. It's a coming of age tale. And IMDb describes it as a young man struggles with his desire to study art when his family thinks he's headed for pre-med studies. Conflicts between Filipino traditions and expectations versus personal dreams in the contemporary world erupt at his sister's debut.
Yeah.
It's a coming of age tale.
Classic.
It's classic, but it is also kind of our tale. I don't think it's anything that we haven't seen before, except for the fact that it comes through the lens of Asian American, Filipino American, and it's very, very niche,
which makes it very different, bro. Like, we have a whole different lived experience, man. So it was groundbreaking. I know for myself, man, to finally get that representation out there, and literally essentially like my own personal story. I think many a Phil Am story. Yeah.
And I think, you know, being Asian American, but I'm definitely Americanized. I'm 5th generation Chinese American. Yeah. Just seeing the culture clash between like the expectation, the culture, the two different cultures, the older culture, the kids' culture. I think it spoke volumes to me when I saw it. And I think now that I am I didn't really know any Filipinos when I saw it in 2000, and now I'm married to one.
Yeah.
And I think that rewatching it 21 years later, there's so much that I missed the first few times, and it hits so much closer to home now.
Oh, wow. Did it hold up for you?
I think if you take it into the lens of 2000 and you're watching movies like American Pie and a lot of those, I think it fits in really, really, really well. Yeah. And being outside looking in, I think it hits so hard on so many different,
so you still enjoyed it, you know, even though, cool. Yeah. Because sometimes, you know, you catch a film that you absolutely adored back then, but then you watch it now, you're like, what is this shit? So, yeah, to me,
the writing's a little
dated. Yeah, there's some parts of it that are that are dated, and but it's that time period. And so to me, I look at it as a period piece, you know? So it fits.
Where were you?
It's cringy, but it fits.
But I think everything is. Even if you watch American Pie, you go, oh, that's
true.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yeah. Where were you when you saw this the first time?
You know, I thought I was still in high school when I saw it, but apparently it was when I just got out like the military. My wife had to remind me, like, it came out in 2000. That's the year you got out the military. Yep. And I was just blown away by that. So yeah, apparently I was out of the military, I guess, working my new job outside of the military and with my wife, and just feeling like, oh my God, this is my life. And they captured it in film, and just being mesmerized by it, and hoping and praying that, because at that time, also when that debut came out as a Asian American, you know, I think we had, oh my God, just Joy Luck. Didn't Joy Luck Club came out the same year? It was like, it felt like a renaissance of Asians in cinema was about to happen, but then it went nowhere. Yeah. And when I had my interview with Dante Bosco, and I talked to him about that, he felt very much the same thing. Like, here we are, we're going to blow up now. And it went nowhere. And so it was kind of depressing, but we had so many great Asian films that came out in that year, apparently. And it was just amazing. And again, it captured who I was. And I just was absolutely in love with the film. It was amazing.
How did you, okay. So if you guys remember back in 2000, social media was Asian Avenue was a thing.
You know what? That is also because, yeah, you're right. We didn't have the internet like we have now. We didn't have Facebook or MySpace or anything like that. Was MySpace 2000? I don't think so. I think it might have still been AOL or chat rooms. And like you said, Asian Avenue, there was Asian Avenue, but there's also, I was one of those early adopters of AOL, America Online. And we had this chat room called Pinoy Pinay or something like that, where like all the Filipinos could connect and chat. And I might have heard it there. I don't know where I heard it, because you got me thinking, like, how did I discover this film? I want to say it had to been the internet, or like going back home. There had to been a Filipino connection, how I came across it. It had to be, because, you know, media doesn't, you know, advertise films that feature us. You know, there really isn't that push with films like this. So I'm not quite sure.
I'm assuming it was a limited release.
Yeah.
And we had, like, sure, even if we had MySpace or if we had Asian Avenue, it wasn't like it was on your phone. Like, you literally had to go somewhere to sit down and on a computer and then and then actually look for it. It wasn't like, oh, this is something you think you were important. No, it was never that stuff. My sister was living in San Francisco. Well, she still lives in San Francisco, but she was in San Francisco at the time, and she was working for NATA, the National Asian American Yeah, the executive producers of the movie, the nonprofit that put it on altogether.
Oh, hell yeah.
And she invited me out to the film festival, which is one of the biggest Asian American film festivals. It's now called CAM, CAAM.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
She invited me out, and that was my first film festival. That was the first time I ever got out of Boston. That was
wow. That's super cool.
And it was the first time I got to see Filipinos in real life, out and about, walking around.
Oh, they exist
in their own enclaves. It was like own culture. I was culture shock coming from Boston, being in San Francisco. That's a culture shock.
Yeah,
and then
that's cool.
Being around all the Asians for the film festival was crazy, and then just being in that was the year of the Filipinos. It was like. Everyone, Dante Bosco, his whole crew, everybody, it was dope. So this movie definitely has a place in my heart because that's, I think it's a great documentary of what culture was like back then.
Hell yeah. Playing basketball, that basketball scene was me and my boys because I played on a Filipino team basketball league. And like that was us when we weren't playing in the teams. We were just playing pickup games, hanging outside the debuts and shit. Yeah. That was my life, yo, in film right there, captured from that time period, brother. Yeah. Although, again, this came out in 2000, so I was already out the military then, but this was prior to my service. And actually, when I would go back to visit my family while I was in the service from 96 to 2000, that was still my time. But like pre-service 96 backward, that was my life. I lived the life of the debut. That was me in high school, attending these Filipino gatherings. That was my life. So that's why it hit me so hard and I adored it, and yeah.
Yeah, I think what's wild is when you look back and you look at the cars, they had like Integras and Eclipses and all of that. And this movie came out a year before Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, yeah.
So just to be like, oh, the car scene culture was out there prior to the movies, I thought was really interesting thing to see.
Yeah. Yo, do you remember also with that particular car scene? They were like talking about the cars, but then Derek Bosco, who played, I forgot Edwin. He played Edwin Mercado, one of the friends of Dante's character, who's his actual real life brother. He was the knowledge Filipino. Like, don't you know about the man and all that kind of shit? And he was educating them about the man and colonization and all that shit. That was insane. So I fell in love with that because I was kind of that guy back then with a mixture of Dante. Like I was a mixture of Dante's character and Derek's character. And so, so just kind of also to, give you an idea of what I was like in that time period. And then luckily enough, beyond Dante, I also had Derek on the show and got to talk to him about his role in that and how I was very much like him when I had saw the debut.
It blows my mind because those are the things we're still fighting for. The talking about the veterans' rights, the Filipino veterans that fought in World War II, no health care, all of the benefits were missing, all of those things. Like, wow, that's wild. Those seeds were planted 21 years ago, and then now it's like we're doing these marches.
Yeah, it's still a conversation, which is sad, man. And it's crazy you brought that up. I saw an article today, literally earlier today, that in Virginia Beach, they're going to put up markers for Filipino sailors that served in the U.S. Navy, not too far from this Filipino Cultural Center that they built in Virginia Beach. So, somebody shared that article with me today. Actually, NAFA, National NAFFAA, that our mutual homie Rodney Salinas is with.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, NAFA reached out to me and shared me that article.
That's dope. That's dope.
So hopefully that'll go down, give them some love, man. But more than a post, give them their money, man. The people, especially the survivors right now, like we need more than a marker. Take care of the people that are still hurting, that are alive, And
there's not that many left. And,
exactly. Y'all got the money, man.
World War II. Think about being a 21-year-old fighting in World War II.
I can't even imagine, brother. It's, different time period, man. I did my time. I did my service time, and it was interesting, but I can't even imagine, at that time and the lesser safety standards, which we all know full well, man. How did, like you see certain things like people had and really didn't even have a seatbelt. Like, come on now, no one cared about safety. There wasn't like no Overwatch organization to make sure people came back from shit. You were just a body, bro. So, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I have mad respect and mad love and appreciation for, our forebears to give us the life that we have now. You know what I'm saying? So, man. Yeah, we went on a whole different tangent. Yeah, we did. but we showing love, man. We showing respect because that's what Derek Bosco's character, Eddie Mercado, was doing. Yeah, right. He was like you gotta respect that, man.
He was basically the Filipino version of, what was his name, Hakeem from Boys in the Hood.
Yes.
The Kofi. Yeah, it's the same version. But what I find amazing is that the things, sure, it's a stereotype, it's an archetype, it's a character, trait. But all of the things that he's saying as an adult, they go, oh, we're still talking about it, and it's still important, and it hit it right on the nose. Right on the nose. What when you just recently rewatched this movie, what was the biggest thing that stood out to you as far as like in the culture or the storytelling?
What stood out to me again was the hopes and dreams aspect of it. Like as Asian Americans, you can get into the arts, but that's an elective. That ain't your job.
Right.
You ain't going into the arts. You can either become a doctor, a lawyer, engineer, an accountant, along those lines. And that's what Ben Mercado, Dante Bosco's character, was, fighting for in that film, is to follow his dreams. And so that's kind of, again, what stood out to me, because right now, my life, I'm open. I'm an open book. I went into the military, wasn't my first thing. I wanted to pursue the arts. I had scholarships for my writing and music. And I could have gone that way. My family pressured me to join the military, but I had the scholarships, but I ultimately made the decision for myself to like, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna join the military, when I could have taken the advantage of those scholarships, but I was scared. I admit it, I was scared, man. I didn't know, really what I was involved. So I saw comfort in what I saw with the military. But then I did my 4 years. That wasn't for me. Had a lot of life-changing moments there. So, and it's always been a constant. And then, so I got out of the military. Apparently now the debut drops, and I'm working for the government and Intel, but then I'm like, okay, let me pursue my dreams on the off hours. Got into, and if y'all know my story, writing, publishing comic books, got back to acting, filmmaking, ta-da. Now I'm here, but that still resonates with me because I still have my full-time gig. And I'm sure, bro, you and I've had this discussion. I know it really hits you too, because I know you, when you were here, you were going full bore at it. And it's just that constant struggle of wanting to go for your dreams, but then having to provide for your family. I now have a daughter, so that that weighs heavily in all decision making. I have a wife, and that weighs heavily in all decision making. So it's like wanting to pursue your dreams, but then also, trying to take care of house and home and future. And so that, bro, that just hit me hard. And I'm sure you feel that as well.
In that opening scene when he's selling his comics, all the comics that he bought, I think of you. I see you in there just being like,
yo, let me tell you, all this shit though, straight up, I'm trying to do that right now. Like, all this can fucking go, dude. Like, I'm ready for it to all to go. All the comics I have on this other side of my wall in my studio, the fucking 40 long boxes of comics, a hell of a lot more than Ben Mercado had when he was in that opening of that film. I probably have about at minimum $50,000 worth of comic books in my house right now, because I have first appearances of so many freaking characters, full runs of so many different things, autographed, original pieces of art from pages from comics. Bro, you've seen the house, man. And
I have.
I can make some grip, but really, and I told my wife, yeah, we can sell it. But it's like, she doesn't know how to sell it. She doesn't know really too much about it. And so I had to find like an appraiser and some time, man. Like, I'm down to sell it. I just don't have the time.
I know you're going to sell it.
You know?
I know you're going to sell it, and the majority of it's going to go to your daughter's education, but the rest of it is going to go
pretty much.
It's going to just go to replacing whatever you took off the wall.
No, I'm not going to do that.
You are.
If anything, bro, I'm going to get upgraded equipment for this, especially podcasting, hosting stuff, because I'm going to continue on with Show Pal Show. I'm never going to quit Show Pal Show. And then just do kind of these NRW stuff with my homies. You know, I'm loyal to you, my man Glenn, my man Rob, my Something Nothing crew, Tranquil and Aru. You know, just keep on building that up, and then acting on the side. So like, I want some new cameras. I want some new, equipment for that mess. But the rest, investing into the future and my daughter and everything else. You know what I'm saying? So like, beautiful. I've enjoyed it. This had its time. It was cool to look at, but it can all go now. It can go.
Right. So at the beginning, when they were talking about the comics that they were selling, he reads off Gambit 1, Hulk 181, and X-Men 94.
Yes.
And I think
I have all of those. I have every single one of those books. I have every single one of them.
So Hulk 181, I did a quick search.
First appearance of Wolverine. And mine's autographed by the creator, Herb Trimpe.
50 grand.
I have that. So so there's already 50 grand in my collection right there.
X-Men 94, I think is somewhere in that same
first appearance
ballpark,
of
50 grand.
I have Uncanny X-Men 94 as well as Giant Size X-Men #1. Both of those go hand in hand. Introducing Storm, Nightcrawler, Colossus, fucking Wolverine now as part of the team. Although 181 was his first appearance, which I have as well. But fucking all of them. I have all of those, dude. So like I said, I have oodles and noodles of money back here. I have 5 copies, probably 7 now, I think, because I bought 2 more not too long ago of Fantastic Four number 52 or 53, which is the first appearance of fucking Black Panther, bro. And I have 7 copies of that shit.
Wow. Hey, you know what? You should sell them to a local comic book store and put your first.
Well, here's the thing: is I could do that, but these motherfuckers, I know these cats. I know this industry because I've been in it. They're gonna undercut me because they need to turn a profit, which understandable. Understandable. You know, they need to make their money. So I have to really sell it on my own to get the value.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
that's the thing. Where do I want to take the cut?
I did the research, so you didn't have to. You got about 100. You're sitting on 100K. I don't know the grading system. I'm assuming there's some kind of certification grading, but the fact is, you're looking at somewhere in the ballpark of 100K.
Just with those couple of books, bro.
Yeah. That's crazy. What do you? I guess for people who haven't seen the movie, what do you want people to take from the first time viewing this movie?
Oh man, that believe in yourself. You know what I'm saying? He believed in himself. He took the initiative, which he sold his own collection to pursue his dreams, and was still very loyal to his family, did everything he can. He didn't ask them, he just did it himself. He was like, you know what? My dad isn't going to let me go to, he wants me to become a doctor. Fuck it. I know how much it costs to go to this art school. I'm going to sell what I have to do it. And he did it. And, but was still loyal the whole time. So it's just like, bro, if you believe in yourself, believe in yourself, #1, and then just follow your dreams, make it happen. Be realistic with your goals. Go all in.
Yeah.
And that's what
on yourself.
Yep. Yeah. Man.
I think if you haven't seen it, I think it's a great documentary on the style, on the music, the clothing, all of those things. Even as cringy as it is, a lot of the dialogue, it's like, oh yeah, we used to say stuff like that. Like that is a thing. You walk into a party, you just point at someone. Hey, let's go. Hey. I remember that, and I think as corny as it seems now, I think that is pretty freaking authentic.
Yo, I want to ask you too, though. There's one scene that kind of hit home that was like very sentimental in a way, but also kind of like self-realization as who we are as people. Because with Show Pal Show, I talk about being prideful as a Filipino, but also, let's be honest, there's that self-hate that we also have there because we want to assimilate into popular with white people and popular culture and shit. So like we downplayed ourselves and we wouldn't play up our pride in our Filipino-ness or Asian-ness or whatever. There's a scene when Dante's bringing his boys back right there at the very beginning. His boys wanted to go into his crib and he's like, nah, man, you stay in the car, bro. And he's like, nah, come on, man, I got to go to the bathroom, bro. And so they go in and they're like, what's that smell? And if you're a Filipino, man, it's infamous. And to me, that's the smell of home.
Right.
is that Petit smell, that fish sauce. But for his character, he was self-hating. He wasn't proud of it. He's like, oh, sorry, man. Started spraying stuff.
Yeah.
And so, so there's that scene. And then when they come out, they started messing around with Barrel Man, with the dick and everything like that. And so, there was just kind of like that thing that, he was just very embarrassed. And then, his mom comes out and then, there's that feedback there. But just those moments right there, like really hit home, as somebody that had to grow up with figuring out himself and taking pride in himself. I think I had different moments, I think, here and there, but I was very proudful. I had a lot of pride. But then I was very much that Filipino cat that was not white enough for white people and not Filipino enough for Filipino people, and was really a mutt and on my own, straight up, and just had to figure stuff out on my own. And then once I figured out who I was, taking pride in who I was, and just going from there. But how did that? Did you have like any similar feelings with that scene in like your own culture, and did you connect with that scene like that? Did you have any moments back in the day?
No, because I grew up in a pretty Americanized household.
Okay.
So I think, trying to remember when I first saw it. Now I'll say when I'm sitting in the movie theater, everyone would laugh in my mind randomly, right? Somebody would say something and everyone would laugh, and I'm like, I don't get it. And now that I get to watch, like, oh, I get the different laughs. But I think when I first saw the movie, since I really didn't have the embarrassment or like the same interactions of embarrassment, I was like, wow, Dante's kind of a dick. He's like just shooing his.
Yeah, it can come off like that. Yeah.
Because I am coming from the lens of his friends, like being Americanized. Like I'm looking around the house in the movie being like, oh, why do we have wooden spoons? I've got wooden spoons right there. Like, but why would they? That's hilarious. The barrel man, I've never seen it before. So I'm one of his friends. Yeah. And I'm looking at him like, wow, he's kind of a dick, but I get it now. Like kind of looking back and seeing it again as an adult, like, oh, there's like embarrassment and all of those things. So, I think that I've seen it through two different lenses in two different stages of my life.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. It's if you look at it and you can look at it in different ways. And I feel that. And his character is very much very self-hating. It's very self-hating. There really isn't a lot of pride there until, it transitions, 3/4 into the film.
When he goes to the party, what I think is great storytelling, which I missed the first time or first hundreds of times that I saw it, was like the music. The music at the Filipino party is like it's soothing, it's comfortable, all manageable, and then he goes to the white party and it's like it's rock, it's hard, it's confusing, and you can see the confusion of him walking through he's confused in the Filipino party, but he's like overwhelmed at the white party where he knows he doesn't fit in. Yeah. I thought that was great visual storytelling in my opinion.
Yeah. And do you recall being that guy, him? I've been that guy in plenty of situations, dude. And wow. Yeah. That hit home too, man. Yeah. Like, man, so many experiences,
I listen to Limp Bizkit because that's what we're listening to. I hate that music.
Bro, but you just did it. You went with the flow because you wanted that acceptance. I don't know if just saying that now, just like I don't feel like I was trying to get that acceptance. I was just trying to hang and just get out. Maybe that is looking for acceptance, but I don't think I was like, just because they happened to have been white, but it could have been of anybody, you know what I'm saying? They just happened to be the white dudes I was running with at that time in high school and shit like that.
And
but I was running with everybody, but I don't think I was trying to be white or be black or Hispanic or anything like that. I was just trying to hang and just, be sociable.
I think it goes back to the conversation we were having maybe off camera was like, at that age, we were just trying to get laid. And to him, he was like,
tell it.
at the beginning, he's like,
you're right there.
I'm going to go hang out with white people to get laid. Okay. Because, I see family and I see friends. And then once he realized like, oh, Joy Bisco, like maybe I could get laid. Maybe I should go back to that party.
Fine, son. Fine.
Dope.
Bro, let me tell you, when I was in high school, there's a very famous person now. Well, she's not as famous as she was. She later married, and I think she's still married to the cat. But when I was in high school, same person that was in high school and was at parties that I was at, and I would see her until she became the person who she was now. Fucking Vanessa Manillo, who's married to Nick Lachey. She went to Bishop England High School in Goose Creek, South Carolina. Well, Bishop England wasn't in Goose Creek, but it was, Goose Creek High School was the public school. Bishop England was the private school, the Catholic school. And she would be at the parties that I was at, and I'd be always looking at her. I'm like, man, she bad. And she turned out, she bad. She's so bad, she blew up later on and became on cover of Maxim, which I have that issue.
She's half Filipino, right? I'm assuming she has a similar military, because that's why you would be half Filipino in South Carolina.
Exactly.
Yeah, interesting. Exactly. And then I bet you she was looking at you at the parties being like, shit, the one other half Filipino person.
Shit, this is going to sound racist as hell, but she was like every other Filipino girl, though, at that time. Checking for the white dudes, bro.
Oh, yeah.
They weren't giving us Filipino brothers any time.
Right.
As much as loyal as we were towards our Filipino mommies, they weren't loyal to us. They were loyal to white dudes, man. Ain't giving none of us no time, bro. But anyway,
I see, and I see
that's what you know what I'm saying. Like, that's gonna sound very racist as heck, but that's just from my observation, and I'm open as hell. But like, they weren't hollering at us, or at least the ones I came across.
I see it as a cultural thing too. Like, it's just that is just a thing culturally where my wife parades me around every now and again. Like, look how light skinned he is. He is a Chinese. Go forth. My wife is Filipino. But yeah, no, I think I definitely enjoyed the movie. I think if you take it into the context of what it is, and when it was, I think it's a phenomenal piece of of history. Yeah.
Yes.
And a couple things that I knew about this movie prior to this is that it took like 7 years to film. They just they ran out of money, and then they got backburnered. They raised a little bit of money, filmed a couple things, and then just all the way through for 7 to 9 years. Yeah.
Oh damn! I did not know that. I didn't really look into the production aspect of it.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, I'm happy they stuck through it.
Yeah.
It's a classic. It's like one of our first Filipino American classics, man. And I would highly recommend, FYI, I had the chance to see this film being, I'm part of the SAG-AFTRA, Screen Actors Guild Union. The Mercado, I was going to say the Mercado brothers, but the Bosco brothers that play the Mercado brothers. Yeah. They filmed a new film called The Fabulous Filipino Brothers. That's doing like a festival circuit thing right now. But I got to check it out early on because of the connections and shit, and through SAG. Great film, but it brings back all of those Bosco brothers for like the first time in a very long time since fucking really the debut, and they kill it so good. It's to me, it's the new Film classic
because
I'll put it on that.
It's Dante and Dion. Dion is Gusto, his main rival, and then it's his
Derek and Dion, all of them, and the sisters in it too. And their sisters in it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
so you got the whole fam representing this, man. And mom and dad. Mom and dad are in the film too. It's so fucking good. Let me tell you.
Everybody is somebody in this movie. Their grandfather, the uncle, those are all like heavy hitters from
the Philippines. And it's based, because they wrote it themselves, it's based on their uncles that they grew up with. They're basically in the roles of their uncles telling their story. Based on their story when they came here. So, but it's a current piece, so it's kind of adapting the stories of their uncles, which is it's so fucking good, man. I can't wait for you to see it. I'd share it for you to see. Well, because anyway, I can't show it from where I'm at.
Sorry. Well, I thought we were still talking about the debut, but you're
talking about the Fabulous Filipino Brothers. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, it's so fucking good, man. I want you to see it. I can't wait for you to see it. We'll cover that on a future episode.
We'll talk about that after that. So closing thoughts on the debut.
Closing thoughts, man. Highly recommend. To me, it's a must see. As a Phil-Am, it's a fucking must see. Even if you're not Phil-Am, API, highly recommend. You can totally relate. And if you're not API, man, just as a human being who wants to pursue their dreams but is doubted against that, fucking you'll feel this, that you still strive for it. It's completely must see for everybody, man. And I highly recommend it. Love it. Great film. We'll watch it till the day I die.
I think right now it's not streaming anywhere. You can find it. You can rent it from Amazon Prime, $3, and I think it's totally worth it. $12 to own it.
Yeah, not bad at all. Definitely, it's save your lunch one day, make a peanut butter and sandwich, and then just get this film. You know what I'm saying? Put your money towards this and enjoy it. You'll be happy.
The day that you call out of work, save that $5 that you would have spent at Starbucks.
There you go. Yeah, man, I highly recommend it, bro.
Okay, great. This was a good exercise in watching older movies, and I plan on doing this again with you. Yeah. And when was the last time you saw Big Trouble in Little China?
Dude, in forever, and that's on my top 10. Okay. Is very again not a film that we as Asians should be. It doesn't put us in a very good light, but hell. Here's the thing with Big Trouble in Little China, bro.
I think it does.
Exactly. It was a stumbling ass white man that couldn't get shit right, and look at us Asians fucking shit up all the way through. Like, that's why I loved it. You know what I'm saying? I think
John Carpenter also said, he was like, no, this is what it is. Kurt Russell's the idiot. He's the buffoon. But because Hollywood needs a leading man, I gave him a leading man. But in actuality, it's like a slight on that character genre altogether.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah.
That's how because you know how like we as a people are kind of, because of the way society's changing and stuff. I feel that. Yes. They were making fun of us and we were caricatures, but yet we did also take those roles because we want to, it's difficult. But like that film to me was classic because to me, I felt so represented in that, even I'm not Chinese or, whatever, but I felt so represented in that. And also Temple of Doom. A lot of people say it's the worst Indiana Jones film. Fucking Short Round was the reason Indy was getting through all that shit. Fucking love Short Round in that motherfucking film. Like he was I felt so connected with Short Round. And yeah.
And I'm actually really upset that they didn't bring that character back.
Oh, Short Round?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, same. Dude, there's a couple of filmmakers I'm following on Twitter that have like written scripts of updating Short Round, and like he's like now his own like archaeologist self. Well, not even really archaeologist, but like he's kind of like a James Bondish style kind of cat.
That'd be dope.
Like,
yeah.
I'm all day. Here's all my money. Like fucking give me a updated Short Round. Like, bro, he's amazing.
Yeah, right. I mean,
I'm with you.
After that, they made like 4. I think they're filming another one right now.
Yeah.
It's like you couldn't bring back the one other main character in your
who was amazing and helped fucking Indy get through shit. Like,
right?
Come on now, bro. It's a perfect spin-off character, dude. Like, I can't.
Hey guys, thank you for tuning into our movie review for the debut. I'm Loy Lee, and this is my best friend, Kuya P. Kuya P, where can everybody find you?
You can follow me at Strange Since 1977, as well as at Temple Far East, and one of those Twitter, one of those IG. Over at TikTok, the legend Kuya P. Over at the Nerds of Color, where we give you pop culture from the POC perspective. And over there as well is my Show Pal Show, where I represent for my Philippine ex. And of course, over at the NRW and at Release Wednesday, where nerds rule the world, where you'll find me and my brother Loy, as well as our other friends, Glenn, Rob, Something to Nothing Cast, everybody.
The whole crew.
The whole crew.
And I'm your boy, Loy Lee Comedy across all your social media, everything. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.
Bra, bra, bra.
Well, it's the NOC in full color, you see me? The heart
Hell yeah, we got to do more. And actually, speaking back on the time that this came out, all those movies that came out at the time, I'm trying to remember them all. The only one that's coming to mind is Joy Luck Club, but I'm not sure if it came out that same exact year. But then there's a couple of other movies that I'm thinking of.
Better Luck Tomorrow.
That's the one that was on the tip of my tongue. Better Luck Tomorrow.
And it came out a few years after this, and that's from Justin Lin.
Yeah,
and it has Sung Kang in there. Yeah. John Cho.
Mm-hmm. Highly recommend that.
Yeah, highly recommend that. Maybe you know what? Yeah. Maybe we're gonna keep on doing some movie reviews, so we'll see this.
Yeah. So what are we gonna call this, man? What are we doing here? And what kind of things are we gonna do? Be even beyond reviews, man. And like, what are we gonna talk on? You know, okay. I think we shouldn't just put ourselves in the box of just API issues. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not a monolith. So we should prove that we're not a monolith, that we can talk more than just what we do. You know what I'm saying? And what we're about. So Kuya I'm ready to talk about everything, brother.
Kuya and the Kid.
I was trying to think of a cool name, you know, that creative had on. I don't know if you had any ideas, but one of the ideas that came to mind, maybe this sounds corny as hell, but I thought of like amazing, but not really amazing, but Amazing. And having it be like an interplay on Asian Americans, but American Asian. So Amazings.
3 seconds ago, you said we weren't a monolith.
I know, right? So that came to mind, but like I wanted, but that's the reason why I'm telling it to you. Because I think while that's cool or maybe corny, cool and corny, there has to be some other nicknames. So we should just think of a cool nickname to call this.
I'll keep on.
You know what I'm saying? And
sounds good.
So I'm curious what thoughts you have. But like on a real tip though, like I want to just beyond that box. Yes, it's two Asian brothers talking about shit, and we're gonna talk Asian issues because that's who we are and what we are. But like we're a lot more than that. We're not a monolith. So I want it to just be fun, free talk and all of that, man. And I'm just looking forward to spending time with you, brother, because you my man, you my dude.
Whatever we can squirrel away a few minutes, brother. That's
hell
amazing. You know what? I'll think of. Well, I'm gonna think of a name. I'm gonna think of a name, but it's gonna be it's gonna be something worth noting for sure.
And because you're a beast with logos, because you know I've been having a hell of a problem figuring out Show Pow Show. You kind of lock down your loyally branding and all that. If you can rock logos with, I know time permitting too, but you know with whatever thought you come mind, if you can rock something up, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think.
Look at that loyally comedy shirt you got on right now. Look at that shit.
Yeah, there it
See
is.
what I'm saying? Like,
Lakers.
Come on now.
I hate the Lakers. But,
I'm ready to rock that gear, bro.
All right, champ. I'll think of a name. This is me getting awkward. This is awkward.
I'm putting you on the spot. I'm putting you on the spot.
Awkward.
All the love, bro.
This is the Asian me being like, okay, stop focusing on me.
It's all love, bro.
Appreciate that, man. So I'll think of a name and then I'll whip something up and we can definitely do something with this for sure.
Hell yeah.